Man, guys, we are in a crazy time right now as far as new technology related to gaming PCs and gaming in general. And it's had me thinking about something a lot. So I'm thinking about all the new GPUs coming out. We've got the 30 series NVIDIAs. We've got all sorts of information about Big Navi, making me think AMD is going to actually be really competing at the high end this time around. Speaking of AMD, their Zen 3 CPUs coming out, November 5th, look fantastic. And we've got a new generation of consoles. And you might be wondering, how does that tie into PC gaming? I'll get into that later. But with all of this going on, I've got something on my mind. Should I be upgrading my PC or should I be building a whole new one? Is it the right time to build a whole new machine? Let's talk about it. Also, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you're interested in PCs and technology in general. And also hit that like button, even if you don't want to subscribe, because that's going to help me become more visible on the YouTube search algorithms. I'm just getting this channel started, and it'll help me out a lot. Thank you. All right, let's talk about building a new PC. Well, I'm going to frame this in terms of how I've been thinking about it. I've been legitimately thinking about this question for myself. So I need to think about, what do I have currently? That machine right over there was not designed to be the highest of the high end. It was designed to do what I needed to do at a reasonable price. I built it, year and a half-ish ago. It's got a RTX 2070, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's on Intel 9600K. So it's pretty good, but it's definitely not the best. I built it, when the Ryzen 2nd gen was around the corner, but I decided at that time when I was thinking, is it the right time to build? I was ready for an upgrade. Okay, I was ready for the upgrade. So that is something you need to consider, is just, when are you ready for an upgrade? Do you want one? Do you need one? Where are you at with that? So a lot of you might be where I am, which is you have pretty good performance, and are you happy with that? So when I play most of my games, I like to hit the Ultra button on the graphics settings so I don't have to play around with various tweaks on all that. I want to hit Ultra, and in a single player game, I want to hit at least solid 60 frames per second. And in competitive games, which I do from time to time, I'm wanting 100 plus frames per second minimum. Sometimes in those, I'm willing to turn down the settings a little bit. Now, I also want to play at my native resolution. You might be able to tell I have an ultra wide monitor back here. So this is a 3440 by 1440 monitor. That's 144 hertz, right? That's not quite 4K levels of resolution, but it's closer to 4K than it is to like 1080p, right? Okay, so where am I at actually now with performance? I'm getting pretty good performance, but in games like the most recent game I was playing, I was trying out Xbox Game Pass for PC, which I am also making a video about. If it's already out, I'll put a little card up here. Anyway, I was trying out Gears Tactics, hit all the ultra stuff, and it will occasionally drop below 60 when I'm playing at my ultra wide resolution. I don't like that. Now, this is variable refresh rate monitor. It's not that noticeable. So it's like, should I just live with it? Should I turn down a few settings, or is it time to upgrade? So that is the main thing to consider. Are you happy enough with the performance that you're currently getting? If you're not, and I'm kind of not, it's borderline, I'm kind of not, then maybe it's time to upgrade, or maybe you just want to. This is your hobby. You're willing to put money into that hobby, and you just want to upgrade, and it's worth it to you. And then don't feel bad at all about doing that, as long as you can responsibly financially support that decision. But let's say I've decided I do want to upgrade. Am I upgrading part of my computer, or am I building a whole new one? That's the debate I'm having right now. Right now I'm thinking, upgrade just the GPU and maybe wait about one more year on upgrading the rest of the machine. let's talk about why. I know that by upgrading to either a 3070, 3080, or whatever the AMD equivalent actually ends up being for that, I'm going to get a significant boost in performance over my RTX 2070. I will probably get the performance that I'm actually looking for right now in games that currently exist that I'm actually playing, and that'll be good. So probably don't need to build an entirely new system to get there. But that's not the only reason I think I want to hold off. The newest console generation is just coming out, and I don't always think that enough PC gamers are thinking about what that might actually mean for PC gamers when a console generation is coming out. And especially with this one, I think it could mean a lot. And that's because, let's face it, most games these days are developed with consoles in mind and also ported to PC. Now, obviously, there's some exceptions to that. So depending on what games you're focused on, maybe that's not as applicable to you. But big modern AAA titles are often developed for consoles and then ported to PC. Or even if PC is an equal consideration, if they're available on consoles, they do have to take the limitations of what a console can do in mind when they design those games. With this next generation of consoles coming out, we could see a big change in game design. And that's due to the SSD drives that the consoles will now have. The consoles are going to have incredibly fast SSD drives, which could allow them to quickly load enough stuff. Real technical terms here, guys. Stuff. Load all the stuff, guys. But yeah, it can load enough stuff fast enough that they can design big open world levels that don't need like Mass Effect elevators where you're like, let's have a little conversation in the elevator, guys. We're waiting. Yeah, we needed an elevator here for great game design because the hard drive needs to load things, right? So it can actually change game design that we're going to have those fast SSDs. Now, here's the thing. Your current SSD in your PC, I've got an SSD in here. However, it's not as fast as the one in these new consoles, and likely your SSD isn't either. To really match what those consoles can do, I think we're going to need the PCIe Gen 4 SSD drives, and we don't have those right now. So I want that, and to get that, I'm probably going to need a Zen 3 CPU on a newer, you can't use the older, is it the 400 series, like the 470 motherboards? I'm not great with motherboard numbers, but if you have one of the older boards, even if it's compatible with the 5000 series Ryzen processors, it's not going to support the PCIe Gen 4. So that is something to consider. So that would be a reason why you might want to build an entirely new system. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I might not actually need that. Until these games actually come out that are really taking advantage of this, and I actually see performance numbers of this game actually works better on a PCIe Gen 4 SSD drive on PC. Or maybe consoles will get that performance and PC, like we don't always get the best optimized PC ports. That's one of the unfortunate truths of PC gaming. So we might not be getting that kind of performance, and then again we might. So I'm thinking it may or may not be a big deal. And we won't know for a while. We're going to need time for the next generation of games to start coming out and get ported to PC if they need to be, and actually tested on these new types of platforms. And realistically, that's going to take a while. Here's where I've come down. With my current situation, where I have a pretty capable system that's good enough, and if I pop a new GPU in there, it's going to be really good for games that are currently out now. I think that's what makes sense. I'm going to upgrade the GPU and hold off a bit. I want to see how this new generation of consoles affects game design and how that ends up impacting PCs to see whether or not I need to build a new system around a PCIe Gen 4 capable SSD drive. And if I do that, I can just bring along my upgraded GPU from this system, which again is one of the nice things about PC gaming, is all the carrying over parts, upgrading the parts that you want to do. And we all know that's half the fun, right? So that's where I've come down. With my current situation, upgrade the GPU, hold off the next few months or a year, and I'll know a lot more about how console game development is going to affect things on PC, and there's probably actually going to be graphics cards in stocks by then, because I don't even know if I can get one that soon. And that also goes to the new CPUs, and who knows, maybe by then we'll find out if Intel can actually pull a rabbit out of their hat and, do something, like anything, to stop AMD from just kicking them while they're down. That's where I'm at. Where are you at? What's your current system? What are your specs? Does it make sense for you to upgrade part or scrap the whole thing and rebuild? Maybe you're just now thinking about getting into PC gaming and building your first system. This, I don't want to stop you from doing that, but there is like this whole new generation of technology coming out to think about. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I hope you have an excellent day.